he's
Yeah.
probably the best player in the league. And I'm a bit frightened to see what that looks like against a QPR team.
All right, hello and welcome to the Matchday Vlogs YouTube channel. As always, please remember to smash that like button, hit subscribe, because it really does make a difference to the channel. We're here today for an opposition preview, and we have the good pleasure of being joined by Connor from Queen's Park Rangers channel, Hoopster. Connor, how are you doing? You keeping well?
Very good, thank you. Nice to see you.
Good. We have just literally done one of these for your channel, so that's kind of like a
We
false
have a bit of
introduction.
acting there.
Yeah. Oscars in the post. Right, so getting on to Saturday's game, a 3 p.m. kickoff at Loftus Road. I see we played you guys back earlier in the season, a 2-1 win under Gareth Ainsworth. And of course, you have a new manager, Marty Cifuentes, if I correct pronunciation?
Yeah, that's right.
So in terms of the style of football, I mean, what can we generally expect from QPR on Saturday?
Well, I'd like to say that it's going to be light years apart from what you saw under Ainsworth. And
Okay.
in some regards, that is true. We do actually seem to have a bit of a game plan now, which we definitely didn't under Ainsworth. It's high pressing, high intensity, and he's looking to get the best out of our attacking players like Elias Chair, Chris Willock, and actually trying to feed Lyndon Dykes up top. So it's very different, given especially that players like Chris Willock weren't really playing under Ainsworth. In the first few matches under Marty, that actually did work out really well. We finally won at home for the first time since March, which is a big thing off of our back. And then went on to win 2 games afterwards, which after having won only 2 before Marty joined, really felt like we turned a corner. Of course, we followed that up with the 0-0 draw last midweek against Plymouth. That was a little bit more frustrating. We weren't as free flowing, and then did lose on Saturday to Sheffield Wednesday. So we're starting to see some other sides of life under Marty, but I do think there'll be a very different game to the one we played back in August.
But you're already starting to see some positive changes in terms of the style of play that makes it different.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see the effects of his coaching straight away. His in-game kind of management as well is really having an effect on the results that we're picking up. So I don't think we'll be as easy an opponent as we were earlier in the season.
Yeah, nice. Was it a popular decision with the fans? Was it a case of the change needed to be made, or was there still a bit of love for Gareth there?
No, I think he'd lost kind of even the most hopeful of supporters by the end. I think we'd lost like 5 in a row by the time that he did actually get the axe. And we really couldn't see any kind of game plan or intent. We were just setting up exactly the same every week, hitting it long, hoping something would stick, and it just wasn't coming off. The fans were pretty surprised by who we appointed, given that not many people really knew who he was before he joined the club. The day after Ainsworth was sacked, we were told that Neil Warnock was a done deal and he was going to be coming back to the club for a 3rd time at the club. And quite a lot of people were on board with that, to be honest. They were like, we're in a relegation battle. Warnock knows the league. And then the day later, they announced Marty Cifuentes, who, was a complete surprise to all. But to be honest, it's been quite nice because no one really knew that much about him. And so he had a completely blank slate to play with. And we've been pleasantly surprised so far.
Nice. And high press attacking football is always exciting to watch as well. So in terms of players for Southampton fans to look out for, I mean, we've got a glimpse of, the team at St Mary's early in the season, but are there any sort of stars for you that Saints fans will need to be looking out for on Saturday?
Yeah, well, I'd say Elias Chair is always going to be our kind of biggest threat. We notice when he's not on the pitch that we're not as attacking without him. Most of the play does run through him, and he does have a bit of a penchant for scoring kind of on the edge of the box at the moment. So I think he'll always pose a threat. Chris Willock, as I said, has returned to the side, and Marty has made the team about him and Chair, really, which is exactly what Michael Beale did last season when we were kind of top of the league until sort of the end of October. And Warburton before him as well did exactly the same. So he's got those two playing, and both of them scoring in a team that just didn't score goals before this. So they're going to be the 2 biggest threats. Lyndon Dykes did also pop up with a couple of goals at home in that first home win against Stoke. So he can always pose a bit of a threat as well. And then I'd say a sort of slightly rogue player to pick out, but our left back, Kenneth Powell, he's actually our joint top scorer with 3 at the moment. And he's been playing a lot more kind of advanced positions under Cifuentes, occasionally kind of slotting into the midfield now. Wouldn't be surprised if he pops up with a goal pretty soon, whether it's against you guys or someone else.
Yeah, wow, okay. Sounds good. And in terms of how about Southampton players, I mean, is there anyone you're particularly worried about in the Saints lineup that's going to cause you some problems?
Yeah, well, 2 for me really. Obviously, Armstrong up front, proper talismanic striker, and our defense has been pretty good under Fuentes. We kept 3 clean sheets in a row, again in a team that were kind of leaking goals for fun. But I think we haven't really faced, a really good goal scorer in his run so far. So a bit worried about him. And Carl Walker-Peters as well. As you said on my video, he's probably the best player in the league, and I'm a bit frightened to see what that looks like against a QPR team.
Yes, and he can play on the left or the right, so you never know which side you're going to be terrorised on, I'm afraid.
Yeah, exactly.
But how is the atmosphere at Loftus Road at the moment? Obviously, with the managerial change, I'm sure there's always a bit of a twist. But is it a hostile place to come? I mean, as you pointed out on your show previously, that our last visit there was what, 2015?
15, yeah. It's a very, very different place these days. The last couple of years for QPR fans have not been easy, particularly since the sort of start of last season when Michael Beale departed. And yeah, we've watched some pretty bad football for the past sort of 12 months, to be honest.
We can sympathise from our Premier League campaign.
Exactly.
It was woeful, so yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
With you on that.
Yeah, so, but the atmosphere did lift recently. As I said, we got the first home win since March. That was backed up by another home win against Hull, obviously a very good side this season. So the atmosphere was brilliant for both of those games. It was a little bit more muted for the midweek against Plymouth. They got a man sent off 25 minutes in, and we really struggled to break them down, to be honest.
Right.
And it was pretty silent with the tension. So I do fear that, if Southampton kind of get an early goal, it could be a bit of a tricky one.
It could be a tricky one, and hopefully the away fans won't have too much of an obstructive view. I'm sure there's. Has anyone commented to you like the price of your away tickets? I know I put a tweet out about that, but
I've seen some comments. Yeah,
London prices.
I know, just before Christmas as well.
Okay, so just to conclude, I mean, let's go with the score predictions. What are you thinking for Saturday's game?
Well, obviously, Southampton, I think this is going to be the trickiest test that Marty has faced so far. Obviously, a lot of goal scoring threat. We see that against Blackburn last weekend. So I do think you'll get a couple, but we haven't lost at home under Marty yet. So I'm going to back us to get a draw. I'm going to go for 2-2.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you're wrong, because we need as many points as we possibly can just to try and catch up with those tractor boys and Leicester at the top. It's only going to be a crazy season. But what I'll do, check out Connor's socials and the channel. I'll put all the links in the description, so go over there and stick a follow on his account. Connor, thank you so much for joining us today. Really do appreciate it. Will you be at the game on Saturday?
I will. I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, we'll be there. I think we're second row on the top tier, so we'll give everyone a wave.
Sounds good.
But no, great stuff.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
As always, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you at Loftus Road. All right. See ya.